Ahoy, shipmates! It's a bright and breezy morning here in the Port of Southampton. For the last week or so, it's been very wet and windy, or wet and windy. But today, the conditions are just about acceptable to get out and have a little flight. This is a new ship for the channel. It's the Majesty of the Seas. You might ask yourself, where has the Majesty of the Seas been? Well, she's been at anchor in Weymouth Bay. And before she got here, I personally reckon that she got lost. Let's have a look. Coming out of the Weymouth Bay, she's going very slowly, and then goes back again, and up, and does a tight little turn, and then off into the channel, around the Isle of Wight, around the Nab anchorage with all the other cruise ships, up the Solent to the port. No, I'm not entirely sure what all that wandering around was, but I suspect she was just emptying the grey water tanks. Unless she was trying to spell out a message via a AIS track. Anyway, I think it's time for a quick photo here. Not too bad, the sun is rising and the light is improving, but it's not there just yet. The Majesty of the Seas is a Royal Caribbean ship. Launched in 1991 and christened by Queen Sonja of Norway. She was originally registered in Oslo, Norway, from 1992 to 2005, but from 2005 she was re-registered to Nassau in the Bahamas. In January of 2007 she had a major refit. And she's home ported in the Port Everglades, Florida. 74,000 gross tons, 268 metres long, 32 metres wide, and 13 passenger decks in total. Speed is 22 knots, or 41 kilometres an hour for you continental types, or 25 miles an hour. Capacity is 2,767 passengers and a crew of 833. Now, I'm not sure if it's the fact that the Majesty of the Seas is an older vessel built in the early 90s, or if it's just the design, but it certainly has a unique look amongst cruise ships. I'm not exactly sure I would describe her as elegant, but not ugly, just interesting. Particularly the stern here with the wraparound section. I'll take a picture of that. I think probably the most unique feature is how I can best describe it, is the flying saucer. See the lights improving, look at that. Bit of sunlight coming through those clouds. Lovely morning here in the port. The flying saucer section on top, it reminds me somewhat of a James Bond film perhaps from the 60s, 70s. You can just imagine the baddie having this as his personal pleasure boat, sailing around the world while he's causing global devastation. I was going to use the pandemic word, but probably not appropriate at the moment. And you can imagine as Bond gets closer, manages to abseil on board from a helicopter. And just as he does, the baddie would disappear into the distance on his flying saucer from the top of the vessel. I'm just being fanciful. Clearly I've not been out enough lately. There have been some rumours that the Majesty of the Seas would be one of the first vessels to be scrapped following the resumption of cruising. She had an early reprieve in 2015 when Royal Caribbean decided to abandon plans to scrap her due to passengers wanting to sail. Apparently she's very popular amongst passengers. You can see here that she's powering up the engines to pull the stern round. One in forward, one in back. She doesn't have to go up to the swing mooring, that's by the container terminal. I don't know what the criteria is for turning around at the container terminal. I presume it's something to do with length, I would imagine, and perhaps weather conditions, I'm not entirely sure. As she tends to sail in America, of course she has a casino on board. And there are 11 passenger elevators. Now, of course there's a whole series of bars and restaurants on board for your entertainment. We get a view here of the swimming pool area on top of the ship. Just in front of the flying saucer section is a very large screen which hosts outdoor cinemas. I found a little picture here. Looks quite exciting, doesn't it, to be out in the Caribbean, watch a film in the evening. I believe the area that is in the flying saucer is the Viking bar or restaurant. Perhaps almost feels it's got a bit of an Eastern European look about her, maybe a Russian look. You can imagine this as a Russian cruise ship for some reason. Maybe it's just the fact it's dated. Right, there's a whole host of restaurants on board. There's a Johnny Rockets, which is a fast food for burgers and shakes. There's Sorrento's, which is an Italian pizza restaurant. Windjammer. And of course there's a main dining room which specialises in gourmet food. And they also have a number of art auctions on board. We can't really see it from here, but on top there is a sports court as well for tennis and basketball and such. And there is a art collection on board where you may browse and buy art from their curated collection. probably saw it on the stern earlier. There's a large rock wall for climbing. Yeah, full of entertainments and activities. You can see the bow thruster started up now. Coming to nicely at the dockside. I don't think I can fly for much longer. The batteries are going flat. But nice to see something different with some good lighting conditions. Until next time, shipmate.